This is my gig. Leave Nero out of this. Jackpot.
Hey guys, this is 101R Smith, and I have returned with another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Asmus Toys Dante from Devil May Cry 5. This Dante is pretty much the most recent one. This is their next offering after Asmus has completed Devil May Cry 3. Has also put out Dante from Devil May Cry 4. And now here we are with Dante from Devil May Cry 5. Now for me, I was able and lucky enough for my birthday in order to get the luxury edition. So you might be asking, what's the difference? Well, I'll be able to explain it, but A, it costs a bit more, a lot of money. Like, expect to pay about 100 more than your typical Dante from Asmus. And it comes with a couple goodies that you would actually be surprised. But we finally get Dante, older hobo pizza boohoo guy who is just doing insane things. But, if you look through the subtleties, you can see he's starting to kind of break down a bit in terms of just he's getting so sick of this shit between his brother and the world coming apart. Devil May Cry 5 was definitely the platform to set up Divinity Nero as the new main character. But Dante gets a lot of fun and a lot of revelation and in some ways closure in this game. And I just loved his design, the more weathered red jacket, the longer hair, the grizzled beard, and out of all of the Dante designs, I would have to say, I thought 3 was my favorite until I saw 5, because I love Dante as a character in 4. His get-up wasn't exactly hitting me. It just, I don't know, the chops definitely were just kind of sickly back a bit, more Western cowboy. But this is like an evolution of that, more grounded, but still flashy. But also just a little bit more weathered to kind of tell you where Dante is at this point in his life. So between Devil May Cry 4 and 5, this is a much welcome design for me. But while we're at it, why don't we open up the box and see what we have here? There we are, Asmus Toys 1/6-figure Dante, and I gotta say, I love it. This is everything you could ask for if you're looking for a damn near accurate depiction of Dante from Devil May Cry 5. The prologue level. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed this, but if you take a look at the headstone. Now, don't mind it. The head itself looks amazing. It almost captures Dante's character model perfectly. From the stubble, the wrinkles, the eye, the smug look on his face, it's perfect. But I'm personally not happy with the hair choice because this matches his prologue model. Like, if you see him in the beginning, well, not quite the beginning of the game because Devil May Cry 5 likes to time jump a bit, but if you go chronologically to the beginning of the game, Dante, when he enters the Clifog and fights Urizen for the first time, his hair is a bit shorter and he just has subtle stubble. They got the stubble right, but they took the hair from the prologue. After he gets his ass beat, he gains power through the Clifog because it mistakes him for his brother. And then when you find him with V, his hair is much more longer. I prefer the longer Dante look than the shorter prologue look. But it is still Devil May Cry 5 Dante. I just really like the longer hair just a bit better, but maybe for sculpting reasons they couldn't get it just right. But that's a little disappointing. Outside of that, the stitching is perfect. There's different textures. There's different textures of leather presented from the jacket to his pants, the belt buckle, the undershirt. And apparently, according to Asmus, they use a brand new body mold for Dante. So they're using a lot of brand new stuff here, and it looks so great. And I could definitely tell what is what type of texture, what type of material the clothes is used. Once again, Asmus brung it out with high detail for this figure. They put a lot of love and attention to it, and it is noticeable and it is appreciated. But while we're looking at attention to detail, let's take a look at the articulation. As we always do, we start with the head. The neck doesn't have any articulation, it's just all in the head, but you can get front, back, side to side, 360, no problem. I find that the chest is noticeably more loose, but not in a bad way. I can get a lot more articulation out of the waist. The arms, they're connected, I could feel in a different way. It's more gearing toward going faceward in front of the body rather than out. So in order to get a lot of more arm articulation, you're gonna have to be using the biceps. The biceps have a noticeable joint in the middle to get it up, but you can also articulate it and rotate it as much as you need. Hands are on two joints on the wrist. And the legs, I was surprised with the amount of articulation I was able to get out of the legs. I was able to get a full knee joint bend and not feel like it's gonna come loose or it's not gonna be able to stand. And the ankles are built differently because in the other Asmus Toys figures, the ankle joint was just connected to the boot. They actually separated the two to get more articulation, and it's very thankful to have that sort of articulation there. Now let's take a look at the devil arms. Now first we're gonna be looking at the base Dante. What this means is this is the stuff that's gonna come when you buy the normal Dante figure out of the box. First off, you're gonna get Ebony and Ivory. Now, if you guys know, I did review Devil May Cry 3 Dante, so you might be thinking, oh, I could skip this part, they probably use the same mold. Yes and no. I could definitely tell that they reused the mold, but they did do some tweaks to it because when the game designers redid all of the assets for Devil May Cry 5, they did add more detail, and you can definitely tell the difference between Ebony and Ivory a lot better than you could with the PS2 and even PS3 era, because these guns have two different functions. Also, the portraits near the handles are a lot more clear, and they have the more Mona Lisa-esque detail than you had in Devil May Cry 1 through 4. Dante holds it just as he would. You get two trigger holding hands, which they function. To get straight angle shots is pretty difficult. You can't get them just holding the gun straight out, unfortunately. But for how it does, it works pretty well. And if you're patient with it, especially with the new type of body that it gave you with Dante, you could get some pretty awesome poses with just Ebony and Ivory alone. And you can get from the jackpot to just him kind of sprinting up and going double barrel at it. I would say that Ebony and Ivory are fun. The only downside is apparently there's no holsters to these. I thought Dante would have some holsters in his back pocket, but just like Nero, I guess he just randomly generates Ebony and Ivory rather than actually having functional gun holsters like he did in Devil May Cry 3 and 4. It's a little disappointing because you don't have anywhere to store Ebony and Ivory on Dante's person, but hey, they added more details, so I guess it's a give and take. Next, you're gonna get Rebellion. Now, this is the third attempt that Asmus has had with Rebellion, and each one is slightly different. So with Devil May Cry 4 Dante, you got the traditional Rebellion that we all know and love. Devil May Cry 3 Dante had the close-off version that he starts off the game up until his first boss battle with Virgil when the sword awakens and Virgil stabs him. Capcom redesigned Rebellion again for Devil May Cry 5, but what they did was they kind of bridged the gap between Devil May Cry 2 and the traditional design. They designed like the skeletal bust is slightly different, and how the blade is carved up is close to Devil May Cry 2's version of Rebellion. And you also have the horns popping out of the eye socket of the skull, so they kind of bridged the two together. Some might not like this design, I kind of do, because don't get me wrong, as much as we like the trash Devil May Cry 2, it did bring some interesting design choices that I wish had been carried over, and one of these was Rebellion, and I'm happy for it. Dante can hold it up, and with the enhanced articulation that we get with this new body type, you can do a lot more dynamic poses with this, and it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure if you could put it in the back. I tried the magnet test, there's no magnet, so again, we have another weapon that Dante can't really hold on his body, but you know, with this game, as much as we love Rebellion, Rebellion isn't the highlight of his arsenal. We have Devil Sword Dante, and this is my favorite design. I love this thing. When I saw it pop out in Devil May Cry 5 for the first time when he stabbed. Like, first off, let's get this right. They turned the running joke of Dante getting stabbed into a gameplay element, and I was so happy for it. And it just put a huge smile on my face. But the fact that they were able to put that as a functional game function, as a fan, I was so happy about that. But the combination of Rebellion and Devil Sword Sparta gave Dante his own double arm, Devil Sword Dante. This thing has a great design, multiple textures. You get like the dead skin in the middle, you get the blade. The claws near the hilt have like a goldish hue to it, and the crystal near the back of the butt of the sword is actually a clear, transparent piece, and if you put it up to light, it looks great. However, you're gonna need two hands for a lot of these, or you're gonna have to hold it near Dante's shoulder, because unfortunately, this thing has weight, and it is not functional. And you can't, if you tried to hold it with one arm, the wrist and the elbow are just not strong enough to hold it up, which is frustrating, but at the same time, if you take some patience with it, you can get it to work. Next up, we are getting the luxury items. These are the items that you will get in two different ways. The first up is you're gonna get King Cerberus. This is a Asmus Toy Store exclusive. You will not be able to get this at Big Bad Toy Store. Your best bet is to go to eBay because Asmus sold out of this. This was the version I wanted, but back in 2020, I didn't have the money to pre-order it down, so unfortunately, I missed out for a while until I found it on eBay. King Cerberus is the Asmus Toys exclusive, and this thing has weight. I did the Jobby test, and this thing is made of die-cast metal. These things are heavy, these are beautiful pieces of devil arm equipment, and they function just like nunchucks. It would have been cool to get the different forms, but as the nunchuck version, I'll take it. This thing has a weight to it, it looks great, it's like this huge chrome silver, and it functions very well. And it's beautifully designed. It would have been cool to get like the fire and ice kind of versions of it, but I'll take what I can get. This is a nice bonus addition to the luxury edition from Asmus. Again, this is the Asmus Toys exclusive. You're not gonna find it anywhere. And next, the big deal why this thing came with a separate box is it comes with Balrog, is Gauntlets. This is a luxury edition that you could also find elsewhere. You're gonna have a better chance of just finding the Balrog luxury edition than the Balrog and Cerberus luxury edition. And what you gotta do is pretty much take off Dante's arms and kind of like assemble them together. And it's a great piece. However, functionality wise, it could be a little bit cumbersome. You might not always want to put this on him, but I love the fact that I can definitely get the Rising Dragon pose. And it's really a preference. Do you want this devil arm, or do you just want like Dante? You have the option to. And of course, his final piece of accessory, you're going to get the Devil Sword Sparta, beautifully redesigned for Devil May Cry 5. But when the first time I saw it, I'm like, oh dude, did they redo Soul Edge? And this thing is a great piece. It's kind of like the in-between between Rebellion and Dante, and I'm not just saying that because of the game function. It has a bit more weight, but Dante can still hold it up. It's not gonna just completely fall off on you, but at the same time, you're gonna have to be a little bit smart about how you want to articulate Dante wielding Sparta because of the massive size. It's not about weight, it's about size. And you definitely have to be a little bit more intelligent with that. Now, with some comparisons, we have Dante with Devil May Cry 5 Nero, and I think they scaled them up correctly. If you could tell in-game, Dante and Virgil are taller than Nero. Not by much, but I would definitely say Dante and Virgil are confidently 6 feet tall. Nero's more like 5'9", 5'10", the traditional Japanese height. And then we're gonna have Dante from Devil May Cry 3, and I gotta say, as much as I love Devil May Cry 3, Devil May Cry 5 steals the show. I got a lot more articulation out of Dante. I didn't get a reuse accessory from another figure. And just overall, the design and the construction of the action figure is much better than its original Devil May Cry 3 or even Devil May Cry 4 Dante. My final thoughts on this action figure is fucking buy it. Like, fucking buy it. This is like pure triple S smoking sexy stuff. Buy this figure. This was amazing. I had, up until this point, while I had fun collecting Asmus Toys Devil May Cry figures, I never had so much fun posing one. This thing looks great, has great detail, functionality, and overall, I was so happy with my purchase. I didn't feel like my time was wasted at all. I was happy with what I was able to achieve, and I just had so much fun. This thing can pose, this thing can look cool, this thing can get almost every action pose that you could want out of Dante. You know, the few caveats I was able to put in, but two thumbs up every time Asmus gets another figure. They just keep going up more and more in terms of quality. And that's all I can really say about this. This is a high quality figure. Is it worth about $300? It's up to you. You can always get the normal Dante for about $180, $200. But for the price point that I bought for it, I'm more than satisfied. We got nearly every Devil Arm except Dr. Fowls and Cavalier, but I can understand Cavalier because this thing probably would have been like $600, $700 if we got that motorcycle. I could live with that. But this was an awesome addition to my Devil May Cry 5 collection, and I highly recommend this for everyone who's a Dante fan. This is 101 R Spiff, and I will see you later.